Amir remembers an event that happened 26 years ago, when he was still a boy in Afghanistan, and says that it made him who he is. Prior to the event, he was living in a beautiful house in Kabul, Afghanistan, with his father. They have two servants, Ali and his son. They are Hazaras, an ethnic minority. Baba's close friend, Rahim Khan, is also often present in the house. When the king of Afghanistan is overthrown, things start to change. One day, Amir and Hassan are playing when they meet three boys: Assaf, Wali and Kamil. Assaf threatens to beat Amir for hanging out with the Hazar boy, but Hassan uses his slingshot to stop Assaf. The story jumps to March 19, when the kite fighting tournament takes place. The boys cover the kite strings in the glass and fight to see who can cut the strings of the opponent's kite. When a kite loses, the boys chase it and get it back. This is called kite racing. When Amir wins the tournament, Hassan sets off to run the losing kite. Amir looks for him and finds Hassan trapped at the end of an alley, pinned with his pants down. Wali and Kamil hold him, and Assaf rapes him. Amir runs away, and when Hassan appears with the kite, Amir pretends he doesn't know what happened. Afterward, Amir and Hassan drift apart. Amir, who is racked by guilt, decides either he or Hassan must leave. He stuffs money and a watch under Hassan's pillow and tells Baba that Hassan stole it. When Baba confronts them, Hassan admits to it, though he didn't do it. Shortly after, Ali and Hassan move away. The story jumps to March 1981. Baba and Amir sit in the back of a truck while they flee from Kabul, which has been invaded by the Soviets and turned into a war zone. After one hell of a trip, they arrive in Pakistan. 2 years later, Baba and Amir moves to Fremont, California. While Baba works at a gas station, Amir quits high school and goes to college. Baba and Amir are selling things at a Sunday market. Then Baba meets an old friend, General Taheri. Amir notices General Taheri's daughter, Saraya. When Amir finally talks to her, General Taheri catches him and tells him that there's a right way to do things. Later they found out that Baba is diagnosed with lung cancer. Amir asks Baba if he will obtain General Taheri's consent for Amir to marry Saraya. General Taheri accepts the proposal. They hold the wedding quickly because of Baba's health, and Baba dies a month later. Amir and Saraya try in vain for a baby, while Amir works on his writing career. Amir receives a call from Rahim Khan. Rahim Khan is sick and wants to see him in Pakistan. Amir meets him a week later, and Rahim Khan tells Amir the devastation of Kabul. He says things only got worse after the Soviets were forced out. Now the Taliban rule by violence. He has a favor to ask Amir, but he needs to tell him about Hassan first. When Baba and Amir left Afghanistan, Rahim Khan was guarding their house. Driven by loneliness and aging, he decides to find Hassan. He convinced Hassan and his wife Farzana to return to Kabul with him. Farzana and Hassan had a baby, Surab. A few years later, Rahim Khan traveled to Pakistan for medical treatment, but received a phone call from a neighbor in Kabul. The Taliban went to Baba's house and shot Hassan and Farzana, and sent Surab to an orphanage. Rahim Khan wants Amir to go to Kabul and bring Surab back to Pakistan, where a married couple lives, who will take care of him. He tells Amir that Baba was Hassan's father. The truth shocks Amir, and he agrees to bring Surab back. In Afghanistan, Amir finds the orphanage Surab is supposed to be in, but he's not there. The orphanage director says a Taliban official took Surab a month earlier. If Amir wants to find the official, he will be at the soccer stadium during the game the next day. Amir goes to the game, and at halftime, the Taliban put a man and a woman in holes in the ground. Then the official Amir is looking for stones them to death. Through one of the Taliban guards, Amir sets up a meeting with the official. He will be at the soccer stadium during the game the next day. When they meet, Amir tells the officer he's looking for a boy named Surab, and the officer tells the guards to bring the boy inside. Surab wears a blue silk dress and mascara, which makes him look more feminine, and suggests that men are sexually abusing him. The official says something that Amir recognizes, and suddenly realizes that the official is Assaf. Assaf says he wants to settle unfinished business. He beats Amir with brass knuckles, breaking his ribs and slitting his lip. Sarab threatens Assaf with his slingshot, and when Assaf attacks him, Sarab shoots him in the eye, allowing Amir and Surab to escape. As Amir recovers in the hospital, he discovers that there has never been a couple who could care for Surab. Amir asks Surab to live with him in the United States, and Surab accepts. The adoption officials tell Amir that adopting Surab will be impossible because he cannot prove that Surab's parents are dead. And Amir tells Surab that he may have to return to an orphanage. Amir and Surab find a way to get Surab to the United States. But before they can tell Surab, Surab tries to kill himself. He lives, but stops speaking altogether. Even after taking Surab to California, Surab remains closed. One day, they go to a park with other Afghans. People are flying kites. Amir buys one and gets Surab to fly it with him. They spot another kite and battle it, using one of Hassan's favorite tricks. They win, Surab smiles, and as the losing kite flies loose, Amir sets off to run it for Surab.